Hello and welcome to Flicks and Chill with me, Luke, and
Jane.
that's right. And as always, this is our show where we talk about whatever we want, but there is a structure. So we will each rant or rave about a specific thing. Then we'll give you one quick pop culture news, and our big topic today is five directors we meet in the afterlife. So what does it mean? We'll go a bit morbid and talk about, hey, if we have a chance not only to meet a director who unfortunately passed away, but also if they could make a movie, one more movie, like what is our like dream movie for them?
Mhm.
But yeah, like and then obviously we'll finish on a recommend. But yeah, this is what we're doing today. So Shane, as always, what are we doing today? Are we ranting or raving?
Gonna rant here.
Tell me.
I'm gonna rant at HBO Max
Here
and
we go.
their horrible new system where I get it. You're trying to stop people from oversharing accounts and get more people to get accounts.
Make the
But
extra
you ruin
money.
and make extra money, but you're ruining your service.
Yeah.
If I have to spend 2 nights in a row on your support call, chastising you for your horrible decisions with your streaming service, you've done something wrong.
Hmm.
I shouldn't have to wrestle anytime I try to watch something on one of my TVs or my computer in my own home. And I just, want to watch something on HBO Max, which I think is the best streaming service that there is. So
Hmm.
I really think that it's like, why are you trying to ruin your good reputation and your good quality service by being overly greedy and forcing people who have been loyal subscribers since they launched? Because I've been a subscriber of HBO Max since day one.
Hmm.
I've had HBO Max, I've had Max, still have HBO Max, been through this whole entire shenanigans.
Hmm.
And it's just super frustrating when you ostracize your loyal customers because you want to be an asshole and make more money and ruin the experience for everybody else.
Hmm.
So you should feel bad, Warner Brothers. So how about you get rid of that right now, right here, right now? You're listening, you really should because you're being assholes. So I'm not happy about it.
Yeah. It is funny how these practices, so obviously HBO Max is not the only one, like all the services now do
Yep.
it. Like
Except for
my
Amazon, because I don't think they give a crap.
like my wife and I, we just been to our honeymoon and we went to Barbados. It was very nice. And it's funny how like even Netflix was like, oh, you're traveling. And there is like Netflix gives you like a warning. Oh, it appears you're traveling. I think if I remember correctly, it was like you have 7 days you can enjoy Netflix, and then afterwards, I guess it stops working, or they will bill you extra or something like that, right? And I still remember the when they started to do this, all these streaming services and mainly Netflix. It was like 4 years ago, like 3, 4 years ago, they actually started to implement it properly. And
Mm.
it's fascinating how, like, I still remember reading an article about this. And Spain, they lost like third of Spain. Like people in Spain were like, oh, well, this is merely convenience, fuck you then. And like
Yeah,
they lost bunch of accounts in Spain, but
and they should.
but unfortunately, Shane, in America, they gained, if I remember correctly, they gained like a few like I want to say like double-digit million new accounts.
Well, just
So
wait until everybody starts getting really frustrated with this and see how long that lasts.
I know, and we always talk about this, right? It's like, look, the streaming became popular because it is a bit more convenient than piracy. And I think many people, Netflix and all these streaming services, they forget that because like there was a like of an older generation, but the younger generation, they never had to learn how to pirate. They never had to learn how to, source out their movies and TV shows in a different ways because it was mostly available. However, because we have so many different streaming services and the prices keep rising up and rising up and rising up, and now they have all these like Hey, are you traveling? Well, fuck you. Oh, are you sharing your account? Well,
Yeah.
fuck you, double fuck you. And like, more and more young people are, I see like, YouTube videos. So about VPN, what it actually is? What does it do? How can you get one? How can you build one? You can even have your own, Shane. If you understand the technology, you can even make your own. And the same goes for, so there's a thing called Plex or Jellyfin, which can host your movies for free, well, not free, but like price of the hardware. And if you're willing to spend a couple of hours setting it up, yeah, your world becomes unlimited. And there's
It's
more and more
and
of these.
well, here's the thing. I'm willing to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm moving. I have a lot of expenses right now, and
Yep.
they just took my $230 for my annual subscription for HBO Max out of my account.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not exactly the most convenient time, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm a paying customer.
Yeah,
And if you treat your paying customers like that, you're an ass. So,
exactly.
and you're gonna lose people as
Mm-hmm.
paying customers if you keep treating people like this. And you are gonna push people towards other means of acquiring your products. And here's the thing, I've never had problems paying money.
Yeah.
I've never been one to pirate. The only time that I even use like Internet Archive is if I can literally not find the movie anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'm at the point, or it's like free use because
Mm-hmm.
it's that old.
Yeah.
So it's just incredibly frustrating, and hopefully they wise up and stop being this way about this because you wait. I think it's going to start really having an adverse effect in the long term.
I think at some point the streaming bubble needs to burst and we need
Oh,
to
it
have
does.
less streaming services. That's the first thing. Because like I'm like
Mhm.
you, I don't mind paying. However, if I'm subscribed to about six different streaming platforms and a movie I want to watch is not on neither of them, but hey, I can rent it on Amazon, even if it's for like £3, £4, which is like next to nothing. Okay, cool. It's still money, but it's more about the principle of the thing.
Yeah,
Like, and especially if I know, if I were to change my VPN to, oh, this movie doesn't stream for free in the UK, but if I were to change it to Colombia, whatever the fuck, it doesn't matter. Because obviously, like different streaming services have
yeah,
different catalogs based on the rights and all that. There is a website that actually tells you. If you like, not only it searches what's on Netflix, it searches where is it on Netflix. So if you just put their name of the movie, it shows you, yes, this movie is on Netflix, but only in Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, whatever the fuck, right? Doesn't
yeah.
matter. So if you have VPN, within 2 seconds and you don't mind watching movies on your laptop, great. I do. So like, but I that's my kind of principle. If it's a big studio movie and the only reason I cannot watch it is because I don't live in that country, but I do have that subscription service, then I feel less guilty about acquiring by different means. Because like, I'm already paying for six
Getting
different
creative.
ones. Yes. And I when I if I enjoy something, I usually buy it on Blu-ray or 4K. So like I usually goes on my list and goes on my shelf. So like, if I need to, I'll do it, but I don't like it. I try
Mhm.
not to. But yeah, it is difficult. Even though there's so much available, then when you have a show you need to prepare for, and there's a movie from like from such country that doesn't exist anywhere on a streaming platform, or this year that like is so old nobody carries it. It's like, well, or Criterion still not being in the UK. Criterion streaming service is not available in the UK. That kind of pisses me off. But yeah.
I don't blame you.
Yep.
What are you ranting or raving about?
So my rant is kind of connected to my pop culture news because my pop culture
Yeah.
news is about the D23 and a new X-Men.
My news was also talking about D23, so
Cool,
we're on the same page.
cool. But so my rant before that is specific about one character, which is,
Okay.
I believe her name is pronounced Indy Navarrete.
Yep.
Yeah,
From Obsession.
yes. So because I never know if it's Indy or Indy. I think it's Indy, right? like Indiana Jones, Indy. Anyway,
Gianna.
I'm s- I'm so happy for her that she's having all that success she's has. Like, just from starting this low budget movie to that low budget movie, breaking all kinds of records, and like, basically universally beloved movie, and now being Rogue in X-Men. But of course, the internet wouldn't be the internet if some fucking nerds, and I'm sorry, there's no other way to say this. Like, you're like, well, this is not Rogue, and I'm like, really?
Is it
Especially,
is it because in the 90s cartoon she has a big ass and big breasts and
I
Indy Neveready is has
petite.
neither of those things?
Petite. She has. There is a picture. She did a Gap commercial, and there's a picture of the male model and her, and like she actually stands on an apple boxes, and she is still shorter than the guy. And somebody commented she really is 3 apples tall. Like she is very petite. But no, I don't know even what's their problem. I didn't dig too much, but I know there is not all backlash, but there is some, as always. But like my point wasn't even that. It was more have especially with comic book movies and casting of comic book movies, have we really learned nothing? Whether it's Joker, Heath Ledger. Hey, I still remember that. You mean the gay cowboy from Brokeback Mountain? What a fucking that movie will suck. Didn't. Whether it's this unknown Hugh Jackman Wolverine, he's not anything like Wolverine in the comics. He is tall. He's got some muscles, even though in the first movies, comparatively to now, he's not muscly at all. He just looks like a decent guy. And then,
And to be fair, he had like no time to prep because he
yes,
had to replace Dr. D. Scott.
correct. And but still, like
Yeah.
comic book accurate Wolverine is a fucking dwarf. Like
Yeah,
it's
he's a short king. He's
he's
like
a
5'1".
yes. So like that's not Hugh Jackman. But now we cannot, we've reached the point where we cannot actually imagine anybody else in that role. And like there's tons and tons of examples where people are rarely happy with casting anyway, but let alone comic book casting. And instead of learning the lesson, internet is still some people on the internet are still like doing the same thing. Oh, that's not a rogue. She's a talented young up and comer. She put on a great performance in a horror movie that actually will be campaigned for Oscars. So, because the studio behind it actually confirmed, no, we will run campaign for her because that's the right thing to do. So I'm hoping she at least gets a nomination. So I'm happy. Like, look, I haven't read any comics. Is it accurate? Fuck knows. Am I excited for the cast, what they announced, and how some of the swings they got, with her and with Maya Boyd, who's apparently, like, I was like, who is this actress who's going to be in New Storm? Oh, that's why I never heard of her because she's a Broadway actress. I think she was in like maybe one movie, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden she's in New Storm in the X-Men, and I'm like, look, if they are willing to bet this big franchise and one of the key players on this unknown from Broadway, she must have killed it in an audition. She must have done
Yeah.
something extraordinary. So I believe them when they say, "Oh, this is a really good actor," because it's not like we have a shortage of amazing young black actresses around nowadays in Hollywood. We do have many. So
Mhm.
if they chose her, Maya Boyd, and if they chose Indina Varetti, I'll believe them, and India like obviously obsession like yeah. So like I just internet is not real. People on the internet cannot be real because honestly, the sheer amount of stupidity it just amazes me sometimes. That's my kind of rant.
Well, and if he didn't just pull out of the role
Mhm.
before D23, I would have loved the Charles Mountain backlash that came out of D23 when they rolled him out as Beast
Ah,
because
I
he's
didn't know
not
that.
white. Yeah, Charles Mountain apparently had been lined up to play Beast, Hank McCoy, but then last minute that got changed. So they're still in the process of recasting it, which is obviously not very convenient when they were trying to pull the whole entire cast out at D23 for it. And here's the thing. I have my own feelings about like and here's the thing.
Mhm.
I'm not going to judge what the movie's going to be quality wise until I actually see it.
Yep.
But do I want to see a bunch of teenage X-Men and stuff like that? That's not what I want to see. But if they do it well and it's a good movie, I'm going to be happy.
I don't think they are like
Because,
teenagers. Like they are, but they are young, obviously. Yes.
well, is it a lot of them look pretty damn young, to be honest.
Yes.
And,
Well, that's the
well,
trend.
here's the thing. I don't have to worry about spoilers because they rolled her out. So, yeah, Sadie Sink's playing Jean Grey,
Yes.
who's been playing a teenager for the past however long on Stranger Things.
Hmm.
So like and it's a very different type of casting
Yes.
because what are people used to? One, like that first X-Men movie in 2000 had grown ass adults
Hmm.
who like looked like grown ass adults and not like young people in it. And like I have a lot of feelings about some of these characters being cast and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like, I'm particularly invested in who they cast as Beast because he's my favorite X-Men character.
Of course. Yes.
And I loved Kelsey Grammer
Hmm.
as Beast. That was genius. That was genius casting. And the fact that they only got to have him for like one movie and it was Last Stand, which he's still one of the best parts of the movie.
Yeah.
But, and then, he is back
Hmm.
in a completely CGI version of Beast for Doomsday. I love Nicholas Hoult. He's a great actor.
Hmm.
And speaking of casting, him getting cast as Gilderoy Lockhart in the new Harry Potter
Oh
series
yeah.
is genius.
Yes.
Genius.
Yes.
I hated him as Beast.
Hmm.
Like, I was okay with that first movie, First Class, where it's like, yeah, he's a young man who doesn't hasn't accepted his him being Beast.
Hmm.
And then they ran with that for three more movies that jumped 30 freaking years. He was a 50-year-old still being like, but I don't want to be Beast. I'm like, God damn it. Like, I just want them to do that character committed to the fact that he's supposed to be one of the wise
Hmm.
and like leader type people in this team. And it looks like they're going older with that character compared to some of the rest of the casting because Charles Mountain is definitely at least a decade or so older than most of the cast
Is he?
that
I
they
thought he
cast.
was kind of on par
It,
with. Okay. Hmm.
I gotta check something here. So
Because he was he
he
checking
at
because
least looks like he's 15 years older than
no, like
his Indy Neveretti's like 25 years old.
yes, but she looks like to
And
be fair, she if he told me she's 20, like I like yeah, I believe it.
Charles Mountain's 35.
Oh, okay. But
So
to be fair,
he's
he
in his
doesn't
mid
look
30s.
35. He doesn't look like he looks older compared to them. Yes, but like I think we are also dealing with a new age of people because like you must have seen this image of Sean
Kit
Connery when he
Connor,
looked.
who's Cyclops, is 22.
See, but like we are arriving in a new age, not only in Hollywood but like in the human history, where it's like, oh, today 35 looks way different than what we used to be at 35. You must have seen that picture of Sean Connery when he was 35 and the kid from Love Actually when he is refusing to age and he still looks like that kid maybe seven
Because
years
here's the thing,
older.
I'm going to be 35.
I am. I just turned 35 2 days ago. So yes, I know.
I'm graying and look like a grown ass man.
Well, you're not a Hollywood
So,
superstar.
and I'm not going to dye my hair.
Yes.
So, you know, and it's so to my point, I'm very interested in what they're doing with
Hmm.
this because obviously it's going to be like they're young,
Yep.
they're new. This
Yep.
is a brand new type of thing. And it's first class vibes again.
Yep.
I'm assuming this well at least this isn't taking place in the 60s because this is going to be like now time if Brand New Day was any indication, which I feel like at this point we could talk about the fact that
Yeah.
Jean Grey got introduced in this movie. And seem like I know from the actors that I know, they're talented. I
Hmm.
think Christopher Abbott is a really underappreciated actor.
Yes.
Very different bit of casting than, what people have been, because for a long time, people have been clamoring for like 50s and 60-year-olds, who they've been one of fantasy cast as Professor X, and he's in like probably what his 40s,
Hmm.
probably Christopher Abbott. And the fact that I got Adam Driver out there as Mr. Sinister is cool as hell.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm happy with the casting, and I was actually kind of shocked that Indy Neveretti got cast because from all the reports that were coming out, Kaylee Spaney had been like pushing insanely hard for that role. And the last reports that I saw was that she got it. So I was actually a little surprised that she
Yep.
wasn't the one who rolled out there as Rogue.
I wouldn't be surprised if Spain needed get something else within maybe MCU. But the other thing that was also like part of that backlash was like we have the perfect rogue right here because she looks like her, and I'm like yeah, look is important, but also look is not everything. Just because you look like a character, that doesn't mean you're perfect for the character. You
She
might be,
looks like her.
but it's the
Like,
thing. Like yeah, she looks like it, but like if her
does she?
performance. Apparently so. Like some people
Does
like
she have big wavy hair and a southern accent and tall big ass and
from what I've
stuff like
seen,
that? No.
I've
Like,
but also from what I see, like I think we're dealing with the problem with the comic. That's why I don't read comic books because there are so many fucking iterations. From one
yeah,
iteration I've seen, like there because somebody of course did the side by side comparison. So the side by side I saw of that particular comics, I have no idea where it was from, what year, what issue, I don't know. But it kind of looked like yeah, Spaney was like kind of yeah, look more like Rogue than Indy Navarrete. Okay, I'll give you that. But like again, if acting was based on looks alone, only the most beautiful people would act. But that's not often the case. Well, it's many times the case, but also not many times. Not that many times. Like we still have character actors. We still have Danny DeVito's of the world. They are sexy as
yeah.
fuck. Like Danny DeVito is a hunk. I'm just gonna say. I would.
It's the confidence. And he's
Yes.
Italian.
Yes. Can I interest you in an
Um,
egg in these trying times? Can I offer you an egg?
Also, Samara Weaving as Emma Frost was genius.
Yes.
Just
She is getting her flowers, well deserved flowers, because she's been kind of like a sneaky indie kind of darling in these like weird movies like Guns Akimbo and all of these like quirky. Obviously, Radio Note was quite
not.
well
And
received.
then Over Her Dead Body
Hmm.
was a lot of fun with Jason Segel this year. And Emma Frost has been done dirty
Yep.
on screen because
Yep.
like god she was such a waste in First Class.
Hmm.
So, and nothing against January Jones, she brought nothing to a nothing role and she was just like wallpaper in
Hmm.
the background basically to Kevin Bacon. But like Samara Weaving is so charismatic that
Yeah.
even if it's not the best written role, at least she's gonna bring some personality to it. And I'm excited about the casting, and I thought that was cool that they rolled them all out at D23.
Hmm.
And I'm still anxiously awaiting Beast casting. Um,
Who do you think was gonna be Wolverine? Because they will have to fucking recast Wolverine at some point. Like,
Eventually,
I genuinely think it should be happen as soon as possible in that same movie. But
well,
what's my
it
wish? You know what's my
sounds
wish?
like
Hmm.
that apparently, which you can never believe this, is Hugh Jackman's done after Secret Wars.
I know. You know what's my wish? They cast somebody, but they will not leak it. They will not actually advertise it. We will show up to the cinema, and there's gonna be a young Wolverine. Like I know that's not gonna happen because that's not how
Oh,
modern Hollywood works. But how
we
great
don't.
would it
Well,
be?
to be fair, we don't need a young Wolverine, seeing
Well,
as Wolverine's old. And it's I do not 100% do not want Hugh Jackman version 2.
I.
This is an opportunity for them to make him
Mhm.
comic book accurate, because if they don't get somebody smaller, all they're going to do is compare this person to to Hugh Jackman,
I
and that's not good
wish.
for anyone.
True. I don't think that will happen. But what I wish is what they've done with this casting, because the need, besides, you can argue, besides Adam Driver, nobody is a A-lister. They are all up and comers, and
Yes.
and this is a good thing. Therefore, my wish with the Wolverine stuff, exactly the same. Do not cast an A-lister or even be no, cast somebody who's kind of up and comer, who you wouldn't expect, and again, in my world, just put him in a movie. Do not advertise it. Hush hush. Nobody fucking talks. We have a Wolverine, and this is an actual Wolverine. And there's gonna be a character like, oh, who is this person? Oh, motherfucker, he's a Wolverine. Oh, cool. And then that would be such a nice surprise in that movie. I know that's not gonna happen because if they do it, they will advertise it. They will build the trailers around it. There will probably be a cameo with fucking Hugh Jackman passing on the role. Like, we know Hollywood. We know Hollywood. But I'm just hoping because
Because
they go younger, because obviously they want to lock them for like 10, 15 years into those
yeah,
contracts. There is a reason for that. But also this should be the like for Hugh Jackman before Wolverine, before X-Men, nobody knew Hugh Jackman. And
no,
that was his career defining role. He's done many great things. He's been great in many, many movies. But without Wolverine, we wouldn't have Hugh Jackman the way, the greatest showman we know him as,
no,
right? And that's the thing. These movies ultimately should be the launching platforms of this career and this career and this career, like, what they've done before. So that's why I hope they recast Wolverine now they give it to some quote unquote poor fucker we don't know and make him a rich fucker. Make somebody like like next Hugh Jackman.
all I want is them to be much more of a Daniel Radcliffe, Taron Egerton
Hmm.
type than a Hugh Jackman type. Because
Hmm.
if they go for another 6 foot, 6 foot 1, big muscular dude as Wolverine, they're
Hmm.
never not going to be compared to Hugh Jackman.
But do you think even if they don't, do you think it's not going to be even more of a comparison? Be like, look how comically accurate but tiny he is. Look how he's trying his heart. Bless it. Bless his little heart.
They should do something different.
Hmm.
And because, like, I don't want Henry Cavill as Wolverine.
No.
That was a fun
Yes.
thing
There was a fun
in Deadpool
cameo.
and Wolverine. But, like, I don't need 6 foot 1. I look like I'm made out of a mountain.
Yeah.
Uh, Henry Cavill as Wolverine.
Yeah.
Get somebody in their 30s who's a little bit older than the rest of the younger cast,
Hmm.
but probably still around the same age as Beast looks like they're going to be in the
Hmm.
film and stuff
Hmm.
like that. And yeah, get somebody who, looks tough and can sell the long.
Gravitas.
This is going to be, if they go, if this turns into it might be a little weird if they go for another love triangle with Wolverine longing for Jean Grey and like Sadie Sink's like 24 years old but and it's going to be a very different thing
Hmm.
and people are just going to have to be prepared for that
I cannot wait. Like
because
honestly, cannot wait.
X-Men are my favorite comic book characters, so I'm super excited about this new X-Men movie. So
See, this might be sacrilege. I never really like. I loved most of the movies, but I never really cared about X-Men that much. But this casting and the way they are going with this, younger, mostly like B actors that are like or up not B up and comers. Not like, hey, Scarlett. Like as much as I love Scarlett Johansson, I don't want to see her in a X-Men movie. She's already had, she's established. No, no, no. Young people, give them a chance. Give those up and comers a chance. And this casting proves that they are, besides Adam Driver, they are doing it. And so that gives me a bit of hope that they might be onto something. So I cannot wait to see what else will happen with that. And when the movie will be 2028, I'm guessing,
yeah, 20 it's coming out May 5th, 2028.
will be interesting. That'll be
I'm
interesting.
just really hoping that this works out better than the young X-Men that they introduced in Apocalypse.
I mean, anything. I I enjoyed the movie, but I want to see it once in the
I feel
cinema.
really bad for somebody like a Ty Sheridan, who
Mm,
is a really talented young actor and
mm.
got like nothing to do, nothing to work with as Cyclops. And also, that's another big thing. Please don't screw up Cyclops again. You've been screwing up Cyclops for 26 years.
Hmm.
Like, can we get him to be actually the leader of the X-Men and not, Wolverine's
See, but that's the thing,
beta?
right?
Like,
Like, that's the thing. Like I know it's more comic book accurate, but people, myself, we don't read comic books. Many people do not, right? And like I think that would be. I'm just thinking, like, would it be too much of a whiplash for for your average Joe who's never read a comic book in his life but seen all the movies? What do you mean, Wolverine is not a leader? He's always been a leader. Why is he like? Why is he not here?
well,
What
to
is
be
this
fair, he
Cyclops
wasn't the
guy?
leader either.
I mean,
He's the roguish character who, you
everybody
know,
rallies
got
behind.
got stuff done
Yes.
because he's not a leader. And they never made him a leader. People just he's the most popular movie character out of all of them.
And
That doesn't mean he's the leader.
but in most of those movies, the other mutants rally behind him quite often. Like,
I and you know what? Here's the thing. I've read very few
hmm
X-Men comics.
hmm
I've watched a shit ton of X-Men, the 90s animated show,
ah,
and X-Men 97, which is one of the best shows on Disney Plus
mm,
that they have. And I just want, you know, there are a lot of the characters from X-Men that they did dirty,
hmm
like really bad. Most of them in the X-Men movies.
hmm
Like outside of Wolverine, Professor X and Magneto, a lot of those characters kind of sucked because they completely made Cyclops a spineless guy who just didn't work as a character.
hmm
They really didn't give Storm a whole lot to do. She's supposed to be this extremely powerful
yep,
presence.
yep,
And like as in like Queen of Wakanda marries T'Challa, queen of a character. And nothing against Halle Berry, but they gave her like nothing to work with. And Jean Grey became such a big focus point, and they didn't like Famke Jensen, I'm sure has developed a lot more as an actress over the years. They hired a model
hmm
to play her, and they hired a model to play Mystique too. Because Rebecca Romaine's a model too.
yes.
And Mystique's a lot more interesting of a character than she was in those original X-Men movies. I just really hope that they do better ensemble characters this
hmm
time around than, just throwing all the eggs in the Wolverine basket.
I
Because
I almost wonder when you're talking about this, right? I almost wonder, is there just too many characters for there to ever be 100% satisfying X-Men movie? Isn't this
no,
like
because they make Avengers movies and they have team of Avengers, and you know what? You they're starting with like six.
yeah, but many of them had movies before that. So like many of them like you already knew their character before
How
you
many
went
movies
into
can there's plenty of movies that you can name where they had six characters
mm,
and they were all interesting characters.
mhm.
Like
Yeah.
it's doable.
No, I'm not saying it's not doable.
It's
No, no,
not
no.
it's not a not a lot to ask for.
No, no, no. Okay, I'm not explaining myself correctly. I'm not saying it's not doable. I'm saying there's so much of comic book, like, Rogue is like this, Cyclops is like this, Beast is like
Here's the thing,
this.
it doesn't matter as long as you make them interesting characters. What I'm saying is they
Okay.
haven't made them interesting
Ah,
characters.
okay, okay, okay.
And yeah, it would be great if they made the thing is at the end of the day, the comic books don't matter.
hmm
Hot take.
Correct.
If you make an interesting movie with interesting characters, it's going to work.
hmm
They just haven't decided to make most of the X-Men characters interesting in these X-Men movies.
Fair. Okay.
So it would be nice if they did.
hmm
I don't think that's a whole lot to ask for.
No, that's true. Okay, fair. What, so
So,
what about it? Was it also X-Men you wanted to discuss, or was it something else from D23?
well, it was more just like generally D23,
hmm
but X-Men was a big one, and that Doomsday uh trailer that they showed,
hmm
which sets up Doom's motivations and then has like freaking badass Doom moment at the end of it. From what I understand, after that dropped,
hmm
they're now tracking for a 260 to $300 million opening weekend.
Well, that is why. I don't know. You probably know because you know everything about movies. But that is why Spider-Man did such a big numbers. Obviously people were excited for Spider-Man, period, right? Full stop. But apparently, when they premiered the first proper Doomsday trailer, like 2, 3 weeks before Spider-Man Brand New Day released, was a huge spike for Spider-Man's.
Which is hilarious because it
Yes,
has nothing.
yes. But nobody
Um,
can convince me, like nobody can convince me Spider-Man is not in Doomsday. Do not believe you, he will 100% be in Doomsday. Even if it's a cameo. Like Zendaya, not even a hot take, prediction. Zendaya is in Doomsday. Even if for one brief scene she is in Doomsday. I'm saying it right. I haven't seen any leaks. I haven't seen any spoilers. I'm just the way MCU operates.
The only
Everybody,
Spider-Man that I've heard that's supposed to be in Doomsday is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
everybody's there. My prediction, like this will either age like wine or milk, either or. I
Well,
cannot
here's the
because
thing.
because people say, oh, Zendaya's well currently Zendaya is a blockbuster queen of 2026, right? And the people are like, oh yeah, and she's got the Dune 3 coming out. Yeah, and she is in Doomsday, almost like 99% guaranteed. 100%, even if for one brief second, even if for one brief scene with Spider-Man, she's there. Nobody like until I see it otherwise, not there, until I see the movie and she's not there. Nobody can convince me. That's like
I'm not
it.
dealing in absolutes.
I know.
I wouldn't be surprised if they're not in it
Uh,
because
I'd be
it
shocked to
doesn't
be
seem
honest.
like where they're going with it, but could be. And if anybody ever had any questions about who the most popular comic book character is,
Yes.
it's definitely Spider-Man. So sorry to anybody who wants to argue Batman or
Nope. Have you
literally
seen
anybody else.
have you seen that stat, Shane? So just between the Brand New Day and just between No Way Home, just the last two Spider-Man movies, they've made globally more than the DCEU since Man of Steel combined. They have 12 movies, I believe, in that DCEU universe. Just those two Spider-Man movies, and we let's me not forget the Raimi movies were a fucking huge success.
Yep.
Just those two last Spider-Man
And let's
movies.
be frank, those two amazing Spider-Man movies still made hundreds of millions of
That is
dollars.
true.
They just piss people off.
Yes.
Um in a lot of ways.
Except for
So like
now, except now they are beloved. Because except for now, apparently they are masterpieces. Even though, no, but okay.
Luke, if anything is out for any substantial amount of time, they'll become beloved
Yes.
just because people like in 2026, some of the most beloved movies apparently in the history of cinema are Amazing Spider-Man 2, Roy, and the prequel trilogy of Star Wars. Which mind blown, that's the case in 2026, but that's how the internet works.
Hmm.
I That teaser
Hmm.
got me really excited about Doomsday. Like that little featurette about
Hmm.
Doom and apparently got a lot of other people excited. And I think it's probably because they finally like showed some story to what the hell this movie is about. Because before that, if anybody could tell anything what this movie was about, I'm like, good for you, because they haven't told like basically it's just like Doom's a guy and we got to stop Doom, and that's like the whole story. That's it.
Which I kind of okay. MCU has done a lot of missteps lately, but I don't think this is one of them. Like I genuinely like that the less we know going into the movie, I that's my strategy. The less I know, the better. I don't need the entire story like a summary before I go see a movie. No, it's Avengers and it's Doomsday. It's Doom. I know Doom is kind of dangerous. I don't know, all the pieces why he's dangerous, but the
Well, you know who
movie.
Doom is.
No, yeah, but well,
That already has you at an advantage.
like to an extent, but I only know it because I watched the one Fantastic Four movie like 20 years ago. So like even me, or like whatever, almost 20 years ago. No, 20 years ago, yeah. Fuck, I'm old. But but I don't know. Like I don't read comic books. I don't know ins and outs of like why he's such a powerful being. But guess what? That's why I'm going to see the movie. I don't want the trailer to point out what's his plan. No, I want to see it in the movie. I don't want a trailer to tell me who exactly he is. I will see it in the movie. If it's not in the movie, then it's wrong, obviously. Like then I need to fucking watch the special featurette because I still haven't watched it. I know it's out. I still haven't watched
Here's the
it.
thing. They literally told me they have an Avengers movie coming out on December 18th,
Hmm.
2026.
Hmm.
I'm already sold.
Yes.
I don't need anything else.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people out there though at
Who
this
do?
point
Who do?
who need a lot of convincing
Yes.
why they should care about this movie. And apparently that teaser worked
Even though, is there?
or feature whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. Even though, is there? Because like I always will wonder like the same like bubbles of the internet like with any kind of controversy like hey, the Odyssey will not make any money because everybody is hating on the trailers. Look what happened now, the most profitable, most of
Luke,
Christopher
I
Nolan's
think
career.
look at the box office numbers for most of the MCU in the past 2 years.
Hmm.
outside of Spider-Man,
Yeah.
which I think sold itself on because it's a Spider-Man movie and not
Mhm.
because it's part of the MCU,
Mhm.
they haven't been doing as well. And I
That is
think
true.
that's a sign of people not being too jazzed about what the MCU is doing right now.
Mhm.
I, my humble opinion, think that the multiverse saga is a horrible idea because multiversal stuff is too confusing for general audiences to keep track of a whole bunch of nonsense.
Not even track, but like if there's no because of multiverse, there's no stakes. Oh,
Yeah.
this beloved hero dies. Oh well, it's fine. We'll bring this one from the other universe. All good. And that's the
Yeah.
problem with the multiverse saga.
Multiverse is lazy right
Yes.
now. And people haven't been invested in it.
Hmm.
And you know what? There's external reasons that have really screwed up post Endgame because one, COVID,
Yeah.
and nobody can tell me that COVID didn't drastically change everything for Marvel
Hmm.
because it completely messed up their plans. It messed up
Yes.
everybody's plans. It
Yes.
was literally a global pandemic.
Yes.
And then the whole Jonathan Majors thing, where they had to pivot the whole entire plan,
Yep.
turned out to be something interesting, which I still think they, I think they hit the doomsday button way too quickly and should have just recast them, seeing as you're dealing with a multiverse and could just be like, well,
But
and they don't even need that. Like they've recast people and just like
I know.
nobody thought that hard when Mark Ruffalo showed up in the Avengers movie. It's like, where's Edward Norton? It's
Or
like,
Don Cheadle instead of Terrence Howard.
yeah, yeah, exactly. So I think they I think they hit a doomsday button way too quickly with that
But
whole
if the
Jonathan
tracking is
Majors thing.
right, they didn't hit it quick enough. Like if looks like
Oh
we
yeah,
are.
if this turns out to be what it was, but that's the thing, we don't know what how Kang Dynasty would have done either. So
That is true.
it's I'm just saying I thought the featurette at least showed enough emotion and motivation of why Doom
Hmm.
is doing something.
Yeah.
Because technically, you still don't know what his plan is. You just know he's pissed off, hurting, and badass as hell. Because there's a this. It'll be interesting with the visuals because I know a lot of people are probably upset about
Oh yeah.
how some of the CGI and stuff looks, but like there's a stinger shot at the end of that trailer
Hmm.
with Doom and a whole bunch of other things, and you're just like, oh shit, that's terrifying. And immediately made him seem like one of the most dangerous threats any of the Avengers have ever fought. And at the end of the day, that's all that mattered.
Hmm. No, yeah, but
So
I will definitely watch it. It's gonna be like look, I'm in a cinema. Like I'm there. Like
yeah,
you don't have to convince me. And this, like I don't like to do absolutes, but literally this seems to be shaping up. Either this is gonna be the one of the best movies of MCU, or one of the most disappointing movies. Because like I think with this movie specifically, the expectations are so high for many. It's gonna be either, oh, MCU is so back, baby, or MCU is so dead. Let's fucking bury it, burn it, and start fresh. Like there's
I'm
a
afraid too
lot.
many people have
Yeah.
that thought in their head already.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
afraid people don't won't give it its fair shake, to be
Hmm.
perfectly honest.
Because like I
But
have another prediction. I think like how everybody's back. Like somehow Captain America's returned. I have a
well,
s-
to be fair, that's not a somehow. Like he is literally alive at the end of
I know,
Endgame.
I
So
know, I know. But he's Joe Biden. Like he's not Joe Biden in this movie. But anyway, obviously that's going to be explained. I have a theory. I will see if it's but like I have a theory where they will actually they back so he can kill them. And that's gonna be the stakes. Oh shit. See how Doom is actually really good. He killed the fucking original Avengers. I have a theory, and like it will be a bit cheap, but if they do it well, I think it can work. Because I think like in the MCU needs to close the chapter on that. Like and as much as I love Chris Hemsworth as Thor and all those Avengers, like, you know, let's close the chapter.
it's
And
time.
yes, and genuinely believe, and again, this will age either like wine or milk. I'm not reading any spoilers or leaks, nothing. This is just my own head. I genuinely think they're all back and it publicly advertised as being back just because they will go up against Dune. Doom's not Dune. They will go up against Dune Part 3, yes, but that's a different movie. They will go up against Doom and they will die. And I was like, uh-oh, this is an actual threat.
Well, and the whole entire plan is that Secret War is supposed to be a reset.
Well, that's the thing.
And Kevin Feige said that there will be some people
Hmm.
that come over, but they won't be the same.
Yep.
And otherwise, I think, this is the time to close the book permanently
Yes.
on Chris Evans and Chris Hemsworth
All the Chris's.
and Robert Downey Jr. and just
Yeah.
and you know what? It'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out. And to be frank, I don't need anything else. I don't need
Hmm.
any more trailers.
Correct.
I know enough
Yeah.
about this movie, and by the time it comes out, I'm gonna know way more than I want. And
100%.
that frustrates me. But anyway, what
Same.
are we here to talk about today?
So yeah, let's move to our big topic, which is five directors we meet in the afterlife. So I will let you start because I would like for us not to clash too much. So I have my list. They are not particularly like ranked from like least to worst or whatever. These are just directors they have passed away. And for one reason or another, we would like to A, talk to them, and B, hey, would it be cool if that person, made one more movie? And what that movie, if you have any idea what that movie would look like or what it would be, just you can share as well. So, Shane, why don't you kick us off?
So I'm gonna start with Andrei Tarkovsky,
Nice.
and I'm a huge Tarkovsky fan. And I would love to talk to him about what it was like being one of the primary filmmakers of Soviet era Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And it definitely seemed like he got to make whatever the hell he wanted. And made some very interesting, very thought-provoking films, and would love to understand what it was like making films in, the Iron Curtain
Mm-hmm.
and that whole experience. And I guess maybe like where his particularly Russian experience influenced these science fiction films that he made, like Stalker and Solaris. And what I would love to see from him is because he made Solaris, which is this thought-provoking, challenging space film. He
Mm-hmm.
made Stalker, which is this thought-provoking, challenging dystopian type of film. I want to see him make a film confronting artificial intelligence
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
in today through his lens, his sensibilities, and his penchant for science fiction.
See, like I love that idea. I was just thinking, like, with AI and him, that's like on a nose. Like, I'm not trying to shit all over your idea. I was just thinking, like, Tarkovsky,
Wow,
because
Luke.
I know, right? No, 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 but because I was thinking something else. Because Tarkovsky, I'll tell you this, I wasn't on my list, but like thinking about it, he probably should have been. I would like to see from him if he was brought up to speed, what current Russia is doing. And maybe some sort of like almost a war, like thought-provoking, challenging a war movie about Russia's current state in a global politics system and what they are trying to do
With the Ukraine
with the
and
Ukraine and
everything.
with, ultimately Putin's plan of bringing back the SSSR because that was a good thing, right? And like,
Well, this is what happens when you put a KGB person
yeah,
in the charge of, the Russian Federation,
yes,
and then you're surprised when he starts to try to reconvene the Soviet Union.
correct. But no, so like I was thinking, like, like I think that would be so interesting, and especially from a point of view of a Russian person. Because I don't actually know his views on like SSSR. I don't know if he was pro-regime or
I don't
anti.
either, which
So
I think would be an interesting conversation.
yes, yes, and if he was brought up to speed, what's happened with the and like hey, want to make a movie about this and how that movie would look like, N kind of a war movie, kind of not. You know what?
Hmm.
And I think that's something because that's something I don't think that's been made, and that intrigues me. Like because like the AI stuff makes so much sense because obviously he would nail it. Like that's that's what I meant. Like I
Yeah.
didn't want to mean to like shit all over your idea. I just meant like it was just like He would, we know he would nail it. But I'm like, with the current state of affairs in Russia and with their economy crumbling down because of this war and because they are being frozen over by other countries and they literally are like crumbling down, even though they will never admit it, and the state of their army that's crumbling down, but they will never admit it, and then the population dying out because many young men are dying in this war, but they never admit it. Like, like that kind of like propagandistic movie about how, hey, everything is nice and cheery, and like, and there is an actual person living in there. Like
Mhm.
that would, and from a Russian perspective, that would be, I think, very intriguing.
It would be very intriguing. That's not what I came up with,
No,
but
yes, yes.
I would be down for that movie too.
No, yeah.
So who's first off of your list, Luke?
So feel free to critique this, by the way. No, no, no. But so I'll do something that's not as expected. I'll leave my expected ones for later. I miss Tony Scott. I like the when I still remember when he committed suicide, when he jumped off the bridge. Like I believe it was 2013, and I was like, damn. I was sad that day because, like, look, he was never like, I would never label him as one of my favorites. No, but his movies had this chaotic energy
Yeah,
to them that's very hard to replicate. They still had some, in that chaos, there was still some story there. And
yeah.
there are not many people who still to this day can shoot action sequences with like quick cuts, quick editing, like Tony Scott could. Like you can, look. I'm not the one who would shit on Michael Bay. I genuinely think Michael Bay is poor, discount Tony Scott. Like I think like like Michael Bay, like especially the first Transformers, the action is spectacular.
Hmm.
But Tony Scott just like talk about like unstoppable about a fucking train and Denzel or Man on
Yeah.
Fire
How many directors would have made a film like Unstoppable
with
and
Denzel
made it
fucking
just like
Washington.
that special?
Yes.
Because it's a real, to be frank, it's a very basic premise.
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Mm-hmm.
runaway train.
Yes.
Like you don't need a whole lot more than that.
But when you have
And
Denzel and Chris Pine before he became
yeah,
Chris Pine, I was like, damn, this is a thrilling movie. And if I'm not mistaken, Rosario Dawson is in the movie. If am I mistaken?
she is. I know, like I'm trying to think other people, like Kevin Dunn's in it
Yes.
because he's like the head of the railroad
Yes.
who's all about like we can't do this. It's just like, dude, like come on.
But and for
And
him, like, for me, like I would love to talk to him how it was to grow up in his brother's shadow because like out of the two like Ridley is the more accomplished director. Let's not
yeah.
pull any punches. How it was, but it's still him being established enough where he actually like forged his own path and like directorial voice. And I'm gonna be real basic. Feel free to like pitch your idea because like I want to just see one more action movie by him. I want to see. I don't care about the cast. I would like to see one more simple, quote unquote, enough action movie directed by Tony Scott because that would make me happy. Even if it's not the most perfect movie, even if I not struggle, even if, most of the movies are not 10 out of 10 for me, they're still solid 8 out of 10. And that chaotic energy he and only he can bring to that cinema, like, that I would like to see that.
He did Enemy of the State, right?
I
Is that
believe so.
with Will Smith and Gene
Oh no, yeah,
Hackman?
yes, yes, yes. No, 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 yeah,
I
yes.
I would like to see
We talked about it on the
it.
show.
Yeah. Well, I would like to see him do something in today's like a like a political
Hmm.
thriller like that in today's context
And you know
of
what?
like
Hmm.
rock cameras and all kinds of shit like that. And it's sad that we do like a bonus, bring Gene Hackman back too. Um
Yes. I was
and
gonna say
have him play the
Crimson
same
Tide.
character again.
Crimson Tide. He directed Crimson Tide, and that
Ooh.
is such a masterpiece. Like when I watched the movie for the first time a couple of years ago, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be like your typical 8 out of 10 Tony Scott movie. Let's go." And I was so in that movie. I was like, this
Yep.
is 10 out of fucking 10. This has Gene Hackman. This has. Wait, I just clicked off the.
Denzel.
Of course. I mean, it's a Tony Scott movie. Denzel is in it, yes. Denzel at the peak. Like, he's a young Viggo Mortensen, James Gandolfini. Like, this
Yeah.
actor above, besides actor, and they all are so brilliant. And I've written like some like in my Letterboxd review something like I genuinely believe when Martin Scorsese and directors like that are often asked about MCU and how they always say they are not real movies. I kind of think this is what many people think or say. I miss real movies in the cinema. Those kind of action movies with the real stakes, with the real actors, because hey, there's a nuke that is about to go. Somebody has our fucking nuclear, submarine. We need to do something about it. That could potentially happen.
Yeah.
So, and if you put together somebody as Gene Hackman and Denzel Washington, two heavyweights on opposing sides, and script by doctored by Quentin Tarantino, and you can tell the comic book
Yep. There's
parts.
definitely so yeah. I think it would be interesting to see if Tony Scott would come back and confront something like that
Hmm.
in today's context for sure.
Yeah,
So my next one is Sergio Leone,
nice.
and I would love to talk to him about because he was at such an interesting shifting point in Italian cinema
Hmm.
because it was post neorealism. It's Fellini and Rossellini and De Sica and him taking this very hyper, like very stylistic approach to filmmaking. And I would love to talk to him about why he wanted so much to tackle the Western genre
Hmm.
and take it into these new places. And it's a tragedy that we only got like six films out of him
Hmm.
because one, he died
Yep.
younger than he should have. And the whole entire shit show that was Once Upon a Time in America. I want to see Once Upon a Time in Sicily, and
Ooh.
I want him to do an Italian mafia focused epic, not in America,
Mm.
specifically like the roots of the mafia in Sicily and make it epic and make it awesome. And that's what I would want to see out of him.
I thought you gonna say you would want to talk to him about that, like failure to to go to America, and like many of that.
I'm sure that would also be
Yeah.
something I want to talk about because that's must have been soul crushing
Yep.
for
Yep.
sure.
Yep. Yep. No, but that idea about Once Upon a Time in Sicily and like a heavy. I know there's a TV show from like 80s or 90s that's very well regarded from Italy about mafia. I cannot.
Yeah.
It's like an Octopussy or something like that, or like octop or like some sort of fucking title like that. And I think there's like two seasons. It's like 8 episodes. Like it's very short. But I remember growing up and everybody, at least in Czech Republic, would talk about like this was the peak of because there was like mafia,
Yeah.
Italians, 80s, 70s. And I'm like, oh,
Like I want to see him tackle
yeah,
like the bits and elements that you get in The Godfather Part 2 back in Sicily with a young Vito.
yeah.
And like stuff like that type of era, that historical epic would be really freaking cool.
So I would
So
imagine with your pitch, we are bringing back Ennio Morricone too, right? To score that music, to score that movie.
it's required.
I
No
mean,
other no other option.
that would
So
be so fucking epic.
yep.
Wow, that would be so epic. Okay, so my next one, I think you will take this one. I think you will take this one. You know what? Yeah, let me go with my fellow countryman, Miloš Forman.
Yep.
I I still remember when he died. I was like, oh, I just opened the news. I was like, oh, he died. Fuck. I was like, oh, because I kind of hoped he at least had one more movie in him. Because his last movie is Goya's Ghosts from 2006, I believe.
Mm.
And I hoped, I just had high hopes, or not high, but like some hopes, that there will be at least one more movie in him because I just recently watched Hair for the first time, the famous musical. And I'm watching it and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes sense. This was before all his, Oscars and all that. No, that was after. I was like, I
Yeah,
totally
that was
misremembered.
it was because that was definitely after
Yes.
Cuckoo's Nest.
And I'm like, that is such a bold thing to do right after beating
Mhm.
Spielberg for Jaws.
Yep.
And I'm like watching that movie, and I'm like, yeah, this is fine. And then, this is more than fine. And then the ending hits, and it's like, damn, this is what makes Foreman Foreman, and this is why he was such a great director. Like the end, like I didn't know the story, so for me everything was new about Hair. Like I knew Hair existed. I always heard about Hair and how it's that and the hippies and all that, and obviously long hair. I didn't know the twist. I didn't know the ending. So when that ending happened, I was like, that is actually emotional and how it's shot. And like I'm not gonna spoil it, even though it's an old movie. I was like,
Yep.
damn, this actually works so well.
I've
Like,
never seen Hair,
see,
so
I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm just gonna say it goes to places you didn't think, and then when you see what's gonna happen, it's like, oh, this is gonna happen. Oh shit, and it like hits you. You're like, fuck. But the way it's shot, the way it's like, Milos Forman was such an interesting character. I would love to like speak to him about like, you know, was it his grandparents or parents were like actually in concentration camps, and I don't believe they survived. Like he's been through that. Not he, but like his family's been through that. Then communism happened. Like he had a career in Czechoslovakia where he was up and coming director. Then
mhm.
'68 happened when Russians occupied us, and that's why he flew. Flown to America. That's why he fled, to
Yeah.
America so he could actually continue making movies because he didn't want to make communist slop. Celebrating that regime. That's why,
Yeah.
like, he often talked about how One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, there is an allegory to it, how this is such an oppressive regime of that one mental hospital that he viewed that as a, hey, this is communism.
Mhm.
So that's why it was so personal to him. And it would be such a cool thing to talk to him about, like, him, that like many of things it's covered by what doesn't kill you. There's a great documentary, 4 hour long. You can view it as a TV show effectively. It's a
Mhm.
and his with relationship, like long standing with Kirk and Michael Douglas, because they produced One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He was supposed to star in it, but then he didn't, and Jack Nicholson got the part, but they were still
Yeah.
friends. And I guess movie I would like him to make. Look, he wanted two fucking directing Oscars. Like that's also a rare feat. So like whatever the fuck he wants. If he wants to tackle
Mhm.
sci-fi, I don't think he ever did. Probably no sci-fi. No, it was never his genre. Like he is good about like these human truths, like
Yep.
people versus Larry Flint, the Man on the Moon. Like take somebody who's bigger than life and dig inside of that person's soul. Like I cannot think of anybody. Mm, This might be too meta, but imagine just I just thought of this. Imagine a Milos Forman directed movie about Tom Cruise. Like
Be interesting.
ultimately, think like you can make an argument, and people have made this argument. Last proper movie star. And like going through his like uprise in '80s and establishing '90s and like 2000s.
Scientology.
I was gonna say he like Milos Forman would have the balls to go there. Whether he
Yeah.
would be allowed to go there is a different matter. That's a different question. But like and that like about like this intimate portrait of this potentially last movie star, which I don't think
Yeah.
it's the case or shouldn't be the case. But hey, so yeah, that would be my next pick.
That's very interesting. I think that would be a fascinating exploration of Tom Cruise for sure.
Hmm.
My next one is Akira Kurosawa.
On my list, but I knew.
I I
Yeah.
would love to learn about his experience kind of defining Japanese cinema.
Hmm.
Because if you can name any Japanese director, I'm pretty sure most people are gonna pull Akira
Kurosawa.
Kurosawa.
Yes.
And I want to know what about Fuel Japan. and samurai culture. Like why, like what really drove him so much to that. And I want to talk to him about his love of westerns
Hmm.
and his love of John Ford and stuff like that. I think that would be pretty cool. For the film, I would want, because like I know he did King Lear with Ron,
Hmm.
but I want in a modern, like with modern production and all of this, the biggest, most epic. I want an aged, gritted, but still powerful Shogun story
Oh.
where it's like bits of like an old man Logan
Hmm.
Shogun
Hmm.
having to go into battle one last time
Hmm.
and really make it an epic war film. And I think it would be really cool to see that because if you've like watching some of his later films like Dreams and Ron and realizing like holy crap, what he could do with a like a sizable budget would be insane.
Hmm.
And I would love to see that for sure.
That is a great. So he was on my list. He like, but I knew you're gonna pull it up. So I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm not gonna steal from Shane. I will say that's a awesome pick. I would love to because if I can interject myself a bit,
Yeah.
from Akira Kurosawa, and we have talked about it when we talked about Hidden Fortress on one of your
Yep.
shows. I would love to see because Hidden Fortress, I think, is the I haven't seen all his movies, but that's the closest we've gotten to a horror movie from Akira Kurosawa. And I would love to see. Doesn't matter the theme, doesn't matter the story. If it can be
Mm.
feudal, it can be feudal Japan, can be modern day. I don't care. But Akira Kurosawa full blown horror movie. That idea has intrigued me ever since I watched The Hidden Fortress for your show. No, wait, no, Throne of
Throat
Blood.
of Blood.
Sorry,
Yeah.
sorry. I was like, wait, that's wrong. We
He did
watched them
Macbeth.
both. We
So
watched,
damn good.
yes, we
Yeah.
watched them both, so that's why I got confused. Yes,
But
sorry.
no, Macbeth Throne of Blood is unnerving at
Yes,
times. And
yes.
God, and him drawing upon Japanese
Mm-hmm.
culture.
Yep.
Because like no matter how much you love horror,
Mm-hmm.
nobody goes harder in horror than Asian
Yes,
filmmakers because some of the shit that they draw upon
unnerving.
is unnerving. So I would be about that. That would be really cool.
No, but your idea also, like, hey, you don't have to convince me twice. If Akira Kurosawa comes back and wants to do a feudal Japanese movie, one last like Logan kind of thing, fuck yeah, I'm seated. Like,
And either you bring back to life Mifune
yeah.
or you deal with what you have with Hiroki Sanada.
Oh,
And, like
I mean,
I want to see full blown like old man's Shogun samurai fight. Like
hmm,
after seeing what Hiroki Sanada did in John Wick Chapter 4 with Donnie
yes,
Yen, I'm just like,
yes,
want to see it. And
uh,
like I would be even open to him adapting Shogun.
100%.
If that didn't just come out
Hmm.
as a miniseries, like Kurosawa taking the reins of that as like a final project would be such a cool idea
That would
for sure.
be that. Yeah, no, like his directing sensibilities. Oh, no, like
Yep.
it's like that meme. Stop it! I can only get so erect. Or is
Correct.
it from Archer? Is it from Archer? I think it's from Archer.
Yes.
So, okay, you know what? Let's stay in Japan because so
Okay.
besides Kurosawa, there was another Japanese artist on my list, Satoshi
Okay.
Kon.
Oh my God.
So we only have gotten four full
Yeah.
feature movies. So Perfect Blue,
And they're all just
yeah, Millennium Actress, Paprika, and the Tokyo Godfathers. Yeah,
yep.
and the way this gentleman understood animation and
Mm.
how he was utilizing its the form to its fullest extent. Where like a movie like Paprika and Perfect Blue, like all four movies are great,
Where
but
they're so damn good that
yeah,
people like Darren Aronofsky and
yes,
Christopher Nolan couldn't help
yes,
but
yes,
totally rip them off.
correct. Not only certain shots, but like especially those two movies, like visually. how you cannot just watch that movie once. Well, you can, but like if you watch it a few more times on a rewatch, you will see bunch of tiny details that are animated, like just in the background. Or this is moving, or this part is doing this, or this thing is doing that. So I, oh, Shane is showing me his perfect blue. What is this?
This is a 4K steelbook
Oh,
from G Kids of Perfect Blue.
that looks
Oh my God.
that looks very cool. I will say that
Oh,
looks very cool.
yep.
But I just would
Because it
love to.
is.
So, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. So I would love to talk to him about how was it being in Japan, doing the stuff you were doing, and being ignored by Academy and being ignored by many other boards because like we talked about it when we were talking about Paprika on your show, how in 2006 they only had three animated movies nominated, not even five. Neither of them was Paprika, which was, but like I love me some George Miller. Happy Feet, I'm sorry. Like Happy Feet is a cute, nice, great movie. I'm not shitting on
Also
it.
kind of demented
It is.
and friggin' insane. And
Yes.
the fact that this was a global warming movie, and just like
Yes.
George Miller.
Yes.
But like
Like.
it's interesting because I would love to continue that conversation into a context of okay, anime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because who like when you think anime, you think Studio Ghibli, you think Hayao Miyazaki,
Mm-hmm.
and what Satoshi Kon was doing was so different.
Yep.
And really talking to him about what it was like, kind of blazing a different path
Mm-hmm.
in anime and really finding his own section of that and experimenting with it.
But also, like, I would love to talk to him about. I like for many people, I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if he was one of the first like gateway into anime and into Japanese
Yeah,
animation and that into that world, and how if he ever thought about it, like because like he died 2009, something around that time, right? He was working on another movie he's never finished, I believe, and like to me, first of all, so that makes me sad that he's only given us 4 years because I believe it was like pancreatic cancer that got him, some sort of cancer,
it
nasty.
was 2010,
Oh, 2010, sorry.
and he trying to pull up his
Hmm.
bio here. Yeah, because he was working on Dreaming Machine,
Yes, he was working on like on something, but
pancreatic cancer. Yep.
yes, and it never got finished because like nobody actually took a reins from that movie. I don't believe so. But it's a shame. I would love to talk to him about like what his approach was because like all of his movies have one unique thing about that. All of his movies, maybe besides Paprika, you can argue didn't have to be animated because they are like not simple, but they are like premise, good enough premise where this could be like Perfect Blue. That's a like
Yeah.
Hitchcockian kind of like like a thriller. That didn't
Yep.
have to be animated. What inspired him, like how he thought about creating those worlds, creating those movies, and why animation and why it was such an important medium for him, and what made it special. Like I would because like he is to all like like he started as Pixar started, as many other animated, studios started, and he was one guy. Well, obviously, like he didn't do it
Yeah.
from his garage. I understand there's a studio behind him too. Like I'm not dumb, but like he was on a front run of animation, and how he perceived like especially if he was alive today and if he would be able to see some of the animated movies we are getting today, how he would feel about those, what is lacking, what is not lacking, and have an interesting specifically about animation and animated genre, animated movie genre, and how he would approach it. And again, he's even though he only made 4 movies, all of them are such a unique, vibey,
Yep.
interesting things. I don't know what to tell him to make. Like if he can finish the movie he was working on or anything else. Like honestly, like give him a free range. Like if he could ever come back, give him a free range and let's see what he would let him cook. As the youngins say, let him cook, and I will be there.
Might be a like building off of Perfect Blue in some types of ways.
Mhm.
I think it would be fascinating for him to explore. online dating and catfishing in
Oh,
a like
Tinder world.
abstract kind of way where it's like you are embodying avatars within these
Mm-hmm.
systems and stuff like that and connecting and
Mm.
not really realizing who you're talking to. And I think that would be something that he would do wonders with
That would be
in
excellent.
modern context today.
That is a great pool. Holy shit, I didn't even think about that. That is a great pool. Holy shit. Yeah.
It would be fascinating.
Hmm.
Now, my second to last is Billy Wilder.
Nice.
And I would, obviously want to talk about what it was like escaping the rising tide of the Third Reich.
Hmm.
And he was a Jewish Polish person living in Austria
Yep.
and escaping. And I would love to know what it was like being an immigrant coming into Hollywood.
Hmm.
And, because there's the Frank Capras who was escaping like Mussolini and the rising of fascism in Italy and all of like that type of experience and what the culture shock would have been like. Because I could only imagine that Hollywood
Hmm.
in like Babylon era Hollywood was something completely different and foreign to him
Hmm.
and that exploration. And I would love for him to be able to make an erotic thriller unbounded by like code and stuff like that. Because he had
Mm.
films like Double Indemnity
Yeah.
and stuff like that, where it's just like you can only do so much.
Hmm.
But I would love for him to do his own twist on like 90s erotic thrillers where it
Oh.
has that snappy, wilder writing and it's sexy.
Hmm.
And I think it would be very interesting to see how he would approach that for sure.
So you want to see his version of Basic Instinct, kind of.
Like obviously not like the influences of like that
Hmm.
and like late 80s like Fatal Attraction and like that type of
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
and see him do his own twist on it and make it Billy Wilder.
That would be interesting. That like Billy Wilder was not on my list, but he is up there definitely. Like he is one of those. But he is also one of those why Quentin Tarantino has his dumb rule because he is like, oh yeah, as he gotten older, he was getting worse. That's why I don't want to. I want only want to do 10 movies, and I'm like, that's not
I
how it
know.
works.
And like I still had a blast with Front Page,
Hmm.
like with Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau, and that was like in the 70s.
Yeah.
So like the more Tarantino talks, the more I never want to hear him say anything ever again.
Yes.
But like, yeah, sure, some filmmakers lose their touch, but like we're also like in the context we're doing this, these are people who've been dead.
Yes.
And like they've had infinite amount of time and space outside of whatever we're talking about and dealing with to like muster up something here. And I
Mm.
think it would be a cool thing to see like him drawing upon what made him great and tackling this genre that he wouldn't have been able to work in
Yeah.
at the time that he made films.
Yes. No, that's a great choice. Okay, so my next one, I have a feeling if I take this one, you will take the other one. So I'm not gonna steal
Okay,
this one from you. I'm gonna take Alfred Hitchcock.
nice.
And which is like, it's like an obvious choice. It's like, like, but
So
it's
obvious that I'm like, why did I pick Billy Wilder and not Alfred Hitchcock? But it's better for this anyway. So
but
proceed.
and I would love and so specifically if he could come back alive for a bit and familiarize like how Hollywood works now, and then have an honest discussion how because like the main talking point now is not like he made great movies. Oh, he treated actors like shit. Well, okay, but it'd be interesting to see like some sort of self-reflection of him, whether he regrets it, whether he justifies it. What are his
Mm,
thoughts in the context of today's day and age, which obviously it's different. The
yeah,
system is different. It's people were growing up in a different time. People were raised in a different time. It's not justifying anything. It's just that's just how it was, right? And for like but also like how was it to shape the golden age of Hollywood? How was it to come back come not come back to go from hey, I'm kind of well known in Britain to let's go to Hollywood and let's see if we can succeed? And how was it to a succeed as big as he did and then fail? Because many of his like nowadays classics they were failures, like
yeah.
Psycho, like the most perfect example of this. Psycho, when it was released, it flopped. It, like critically, it was panned. People were laughing at this. People were not happy with this. People were like, "Well, what is this shit?" And now it's one of the most beloved horror movies, right?
Yeah.
And that would be also interesting for him to see. Oh, so that movie everybody laughed at, like, about 60 something years ago is now beloved classic. Well, I did something right, probably, right? And like that would be interesting. And like you talk to him about that. And for my like for his, I'm gonna be basic. Give me good old fashioned thriller made by today's actors, but with Hitchcock. Obviously, he needs to be slightly better to those actors. Like he needs to go through anger management course or some sort of course. Okay, okay, cool. But no, give me some good old fashioned thriller. Some sort of like, hey, wife is killed husband, maybe. Some sort of twist, like, maybe. And just give me some sort of vibey, noir-ish, twisty shadow play. The way the way he used the mirrors and shadows, like it's perfect. It was perfect. And he like it would be nice to see some sort of basic Hitchcock like that, quote unquote.
I would be fascinated to see him do a full-blown serial killer movie
Mm.
where it's like a cat and mouse game between an inspector and a serial killer in like an urban setting.
So imagine
Eh,
like his like Ted Bundy movie or like a Zodiac movie by Hitchcock, yeah?
like a Zodiac or
Holy shit.
even like a Seven,
Ooh.
but like Hitchcock.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Jimmy Stewart chasing after this serial killer.
Damn.
And like something like that. I think that would be pretty cool for sure.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Um, my last one,
Let's
it's
see.
Kubrick.
Yes.
And like I just want to understand what goes through like I would have so many questions about his process and his worldview and why he has such an had such an eclectic filmography. What motivated the choices for him to tackle these different stories at these different times? And this is real basic and it's not very creative of me, but I want him to make his Napoleon movie.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Like I could have picked AI
Mm-hmm.
too, but like I wanted to see him do that Napoleon film, like Barry Lyndon style epic Napoleon film.
Mm-hmm.
They got the horny and weird Ridley Scott Napoleon with Joaquin Phoenix. I would like to see a more serious exploration of Napoleon
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where like there's something campy and weird about the Ridley Scott Napoleon movie.
Yes.
And you casting Joaquin Phoenix and having him do the performance that he did was weird and quirky and strange. I
Mm-hmm.
would like a really serious, like really capturing the epicness of the battles and his intelligence and his strategy and why he was able to rise to power from such humble beginnings. And like, I just would love for Kubrick to be able to have realized that.
And see, this is the quote unquote basic answer that is just so right. Like he cannot even say anything because like that is the answer. Like he's been working since like 70s on a Napoleon movie, right? Like he's been researching it. He's been
Yeah.
kind of writing this. And if I'm not mistaken, the only reason they haven't done it, the screenplay was like 300 pages or something insane.
Would
Like
have been an epic movie.
like basically like for people who don't know, uh a rule in Hollywood, one page of screenplay is roughly 1 minute of screen time. So this would have to be about 5 hours.
Yep.
So, obviously nowadays, hey, that's fine. Studio would be like, hey, that's fine. Part one,
It's a
part two.
yeah, it's a mini series on Apple TV Plus.
Or,
Uh
or it's like,
something like that.
no, it's Napoleon and Napoleon returns. Somehow, Napoleon returns.
Napoleon Rise, Napoleon Waterloo.
Yes.
One, two,
And
Boogaloo.
and we have ABBA now. So like, for the trailer for the Waterloo one, there will better be fucking, but it's not gonna be ABBA. It's gonna be one of those like, hey, we are indie band and ABBA is sad now.
It's
Waterloo. Waterloo, defeated, you won the war. It's just gonna be so sad.
yep. God.
No, but this is like
God.
no, it would no like as you said, it's a base, but this is basic for a reason because
Yeah.
that I would love to see what he's been working on for like two pretty much decades, and it would be
Actually get
epic.
to do it.
Yes,
I'd watch it 5 hours. I don't care.
100%.
Um, throw an
But
intermission, whatever.
exactly.
It's fine. Break. Well, I would watch like all of these, so I think
Yes.
we did a good job.
Well,
So
let me pick one last one, mile one because
okay.
so I'll finish us off, which I think you can probably tell which is my last one, David Lynch. Like I
And what do you
was
even predict
exactly.
of what he would make?
Exactly. Like no, I would love so for first of all, again, it's only been few years since he's left this world,
Yep.
and I was so like there was at a time where my grandma's passed away at around the same time, so I was like, fuck me, like I was not having a good week that week. I was like, Jesus
Yep.
Christ. Obviously, one hurt a bit more, but no, like he is very near to my heart. The older I get, the more I appreciate his movies and his aesthetic and his weirdness and his insanity, because there is a key to that insanity. If you tune into that frequency, I would love to talk to him about coffee. I would love to sit down.
I was gonna make a joke about that, but I kind of knew that. Like, yeah, just
Yeah, I would
yeah.
love to talk to him, about coffee and life and how he perceives life and how what are his views on mundane things. Like I don't necessarily like obviously like I would love to talk to him about movies, but like I think not even a key. I think the way to understand this extraordinary person is to just get him talking about random things. And I think that would be an afternoon to remember. Like genuinely, that could be a movie on its own. My afternoon with with Lynch. Like that could be a great movie if somebody decent enough, actually writes a screenplay for it. But yeah, his last movie, anything he wants. I just watched Straight Story, the Straight Story for the first time.
Yeah.
You know what blew my mind, Shane? That was technically his last movie because Mulholland Drive started as a TV show and Inland Empire was started as a series of shorts. So technically, the Straight Story from 1999, I believe, was the last feature David Lynch started as a feature, and that blew my mind. And this is how, by the
I
way, this is how you do, like Mulholland Drive, like one of the best pieces of cinema still of 21st century. That's how you do. Hey, this started as a TV show, but let's make it into a movie. That's how you do this shit. Disney takes notes.
I want I would love to see a coming of age story
Hmm.
about a young woman that you don't know if it really is a Wizard of Oz adaptation or not.
Ooh.
I know how much he loved the Wizard of Oz and how influential it was on
Mm-hmm.
like all of his work.
Mm-hmm.
I want there to be so much doubt
Mm-hmm.
and abstract expression about it that did this young woman travel somewhere else?
Mm-hmm.
Or is she just experiencing life in her own prism of understanding? And I don't want there to be a real answer at the end
Mm-hmm.
because there shouldn't be, and there wouldn't be because it's a David Lynch movie. I
Mm-hmm.
think that would be if he got to make one last film. I would love for him to like fully realize his love of the Wizard of Oz and do his own spin on it.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds awesome. That sounds so cool. Nobody. Yeah. No, but I think we've covered it all. I think.
Or
Well,
what? I would watch him sitting with you and just having a conversation with coffee. For
that would be
it's
so cool.
my dinner with Lynch.
Like genuinely before he died, I've always said,
Yep.
like, there's obviously like a Spielberg and Scorsese and all of these, like that'd be cool. Like any director, like that stature would be
Mhm.
cool to meet and sit down for a coffee. But I've always, ever since like I found my appreciation for like his movies and especially Mulholland Drive, I've always said if I could like select one. It wouldn't be
Mhm.
Spielberg, it wouldn't be Scorsese as much as I love those guys. It would be David Lynch to sit down and have a coffee with and have a chat about just life in general. Like,
Yeah.
because I think that man was one of his kind. like genuinely one of his kind, and the way he perceived world, the way he perceived art,
Mhm.
cinema, like anything like that, it it's mind breaking, in a sense. And I admire him still to this day. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I think we've covered it all. There was a great list from both of us.
Yeah,
So
I'm proud of us.
me too, me too. So Shane, what would you like to recommend for people to watch?
Just had my film noir movie marathon
Nice.
and had seen already The Maltese Falcon, Strangers on a Train, and The Big Sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Watched The Dahlia and Key Largo for the first time. And I
Mm.
want to recommend Key Largo, which is a John Huston directed,
Mm.
Humphrey Bogart, E.G. Robinson starring film where Humphrey Bogart is a former GI who goes to Key Largo down to Key West, down in Florida, to meet the father and wife, the widow of one of his GIs.
Mm-hmm.
And the father is played by Lionel Barrymore, and Lauren Bacall is the widow,
Mm-hmm.
and they are taken hostage by a gangster and his squad during a hurricane. And the gangster is played by, yeah, E.G. Robinson. And I'm just like, they had Humphrey Bogart, E.G. Robinson, and Lionel Barrymore all in the same movie doing their, yes,
Yep.
she
Yep.
Humphrey Bogart, I
Yep.
like all of it.
Yep.
And this was John Huston directed a lot of this. It was so well put together. The acting was great, and just it was thrilling, exciting. It kept you on the edge of your seat. It was some top notch noir.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
I haven't seen it, so I had to look it up on IMDb. You're not the only one who liked it. On IMDb, this movie has 7.7 out of 10, which in IMDb, that's a very high rating. So,
Mm.
on my watch list it goes because that I didn't even know it existed, but that sounds right up my street.
It has a 3.8 on
What the
Letterboxd.
noise? So that kind of matches, yeah. That kind of yeah. Okay, okay. So my recommend will be more basic. I watched a lot of movies, but the one I'm fully behind is like the Spider-Man brand new day. I finally
Okay.
managed to I finally managed to watch it in a cinemas because again I was on a honeymoon, so like I was a week behind everybody else. So I was just reading about how it's breaking all records. Most people were happy with it, some not, but most people were happy with it. So I was like, oh yeah, let me see it, let me watch it, and I loved it. I just thought this was great.
Mm.
I don't mind. This might be a bit of a spoiler. I don't mind we don't get the big bad being a Spider-Man big bad
I just
without.
Can I say one thing real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah, yeah, of course.
People need to shut the hell up. If the antagonist works, who gives a shit where
Yes,
it came from?
yes,
Sorry,
yes. No, no, no.
that's all I'm
All
gonna
good.
say.
All good. I
Shane is
agree.
spicy these days, and
I like Spicy Shane, and also I agree with Spicy Shane because again, that protagonist worked, even though I had it kind of spoiled because it was like the worst kept secret on the internet. Like,
it was a theory for way too long,
yes,
and
yes,
then to be not that surprising when it
yes,
was actually revealed.
yes.
Yeah.
But it's not even about a villain. So for me,
Oh,
why I loved this movie, A, I love Spider-Man, but okay. B, this movie, I love that they actually kept the No Way Home. And like, he doesn't like he lives a life where his best friend and his girlfriend do not remember him, and
nope.
he like lives in a world where he just tries to isolate himself. He needs to figure out what's the balance of being Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
He's just Spider-Man.
Yes, and
But
he yeah,
it's
for like few years, yes, of the movie
yeah,
time. And like I love, and like so he's on like just he's dealing with just quote unquote street level crime, right? He's
yeah.
not, it's not Avengers level. It's like small potatoes,
Small
big
potatoes.
potatoes. As
Potatoes.
somebody, so as somebody who's in a movie said, small potatoes, big potatoes. It's a small potato problem.
Yeah.
I love that scene. That I thought it was like a nice and cheeky. Like I wish some trailers and posters wouldn't spoil certain somebody being in a movie, even though it doesn't really spoil it that much. Like your experience of it, like Hulk being
Yeah.
in a movie. Like by the time this episode drops, everybody will know. Like so,
Which, to be frank,
it's
the Hulk's in the movie for like less than 10 minutes.
and it's not like
And
crucial part of the movie. Yeah.
they just used it as they used that as marketing to be like,
Yes.
Hulk's in it.
Yes.
And
Guys,
it's
you
like,
like Hulk, remember? And but
you know how you've been complaining and bitching about Disney
yes.
making him a bitch and making him Smart Hulk for so long? It's Savage Hulk again. And it's just
Yes.
like, oh
Yes.
my
And
God.
he's actual threat. He is actual
Yeah.
threat to Spider-Man. But like what I loved about so on the premise of hey nobody actually remembers him like well the two most important people in his life don't remember him, and how that movie because of that makes you realize those core three Zendaya, Tom Holland, and the actor I'm blanking his name on Ned.
Jacob Batalon.
Yes, how their kinship and friendship and relationship is such an important part of this now fourth movie, this like trilogy and the
Yeah.
fourth movie now, how that they genuinely are the core three, and how those scenes we get like we get few scenes with them, not that many. Like you would think is oh Zendaya will be more in the movie. Zendaya is surprisingly not as much in this movie, which again
Yeah.
I love Zendaya, but I like she was not she was utilized just right. This is a Spider-Man
Yep.
movie, right? And because a movie does this like that, it makes us miss that. It makes us miss that kind of connection those three have. And I like, it makes you realize that. Then the action, the ninja sequence that was spoiled in the trailer,
Yep.
brilliant. Brilliant. Not just that, like, this is the first ever since Shang-Chi. Hey, it's the same director. Funny how that works. Ever since Shang-Chi, I can say, hey, MCU movie has an action sequences I can follow very well. I can track where everybody is. It's not confusing. It's not cut to death. It worked. They
Mm.
all worked very well. Not just that, but like with the Scorpion, all the action. Some of him swinging from this through a city,
Yeah.
they took obviously inspiration from the video games. I've played the first one before I quit my gaming career. I've played the first one, so there are sequences that feel in a very good way as a video game. This is how you do it. And my last point, Tom Holland. I think he's not getting enough credit because he has grown into that role where
Yep.
now he is more adult, mature, where I think we are ready naturally for this Spider-Man to maybe become a mentor at future movies because he has grown into that role so much. And I've written in my Letterboxd review, so despite this movie not doing anything new with this character because we've seen these kind of stories before with Spider-Man. Hey, do I am I just Spider-Man? Am I Peter Parker? I need to find a balance. That's not new, but the way this movie tackles that, the way this movie builds on top of it,
Yep.
and the villain, the bad guy, like everybody, everything around that. I thought it was great. I thought the 2 hours 25, which that runtime scared me a bit. I thought it actually didn't drag at all. I thought I had a blast,
No.
and I genuinely cannot wait for next Spider-Man.
Yeah. I thought it was extremely well done. Destin Daniel Cretton.
Yes.
I would have loved to see what Kang Dynasty would have been like with him
Yep.
behind the action and everything. Like him doing Avengers movie with how he does action would be pretty freaking cool.
Yes. Yes.
So, and how they leverage Punisher and Hulk to show different dichotomies of where Peter Parker's life could go
Mm-hmm.
was such a great thematic element to it where they felt necessary to the story because what they represented.
And yes, and also I loved that. Thank you for reminding me. I love the fact that there's a Punisher in the movie, but nobody actually ever says there's not a scene. Hey, who is this guy? Is he some sort of Punisher? Oh no, or like I'm the or in a lesser movie you're like, hey, I'm a Punisher. No, everybody calls him Frank.
Immediately, like, Frank, get
Yes,
out of here.
everybody calls him Frank. There's not a single mention of, hey, I'm Punisher. And in a lesser comic book movie, there would be a line for everybody to know, hey, I'm the Punisher. And then the way they talk to each other, like two New
Oh,
Yorkers.
he's Spider-Man.
Yes. Like there are two New Yorkers talking to each other, like
Yep.
you know, like bickering over every single tiny thing. And I
You
just
remember Staten Island? No, don't bringing up Staten
yes.
Island.
And then the Zendaya is there watching them fight, and I'm like, this is so funny. Like
She
their
is
chemistry
so good.
worked. Yes.
Like that whole sequence was might be my favorite part of the whole entire movie because just the writing, Zendaya and how she approaches
Yep.
her line deliveries and everything. There's a thing that she says to Frank Castle that floored me. I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah.
So no, it was pretty great. I was so happy with that. And
Hmm.
bring on more Spider-Man, and Sony's gonna be like, we're gonna make print money for forever.
Yes.
So there you go.
But you know what
But
I
yeah,
mean? They are not getting rid of. Sony will never sell the Spider-Man
nope.
rights.
Oh, because there was talks that they were gonna sell the rights back to Marvel Studios. Not after this.
No, nope, nope.
No way. No way in hell.
There's no way
So
home. No, no, no. They will
they'd
stay
have to pay
home.
$20 billion. Like they would have to pay that much money
Pretty
to
much.
convince Sony not to give up. Convince Sony to give up Spider-Man.
And to be honest, if this works and the partnership seems to be still working fine, hey, we're going to be happy.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else, Shane, from you? All right, so this is another episode in the can. So Shane, thank you so much. If people liked what they've seen, where can they follow you? Where can they can catch you?
They could head over to the Wasteland Reviewer Instagram page where I shamelessly plug all the things that I do. You can head over to the wastelandreviewer.blog where I have written reviews for wide releases and some monthly articles. The Wasteland Reviewer YouTube channel where I review basically anything and everything that I watch, new, related, and I have my one weekly show. Of course, I contribute to sifpop.com and knockonwoodfilm.com. And most importantly, relevant to this, all of the podcasts I do here on the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.
Correct. Correct. As always, it's a lot of stuff. My one is my one is much shorter. So yeah, me on Letterboxd in Movies Lost here every other Friday, or on Shane's shows, which is Wasteland Retrospective once a month, Cinematic Wasteland once a month with our buddy Adam, or and Wasteland Watchlist, which whenever
Whenever the hell it comes out.
yes. And because we are nice people, Siftop is looking for writers. So if you guys want
Yes.
to be part of Siftop community or be, and join the crew, just go to siftop.com and there'll be ways to reach the editor because we've been asked to do this and I forgotten last time, so I feel bad. So, Nick, if you listen to this, I remember this time.
We did our work. We did
We
our
did
job.
it! But no, as Shane mentioned, we are part of the SPDM crew and ever so grateful. And until next time, bye bye.
Bye.